everybody, and welcome to Blue Jays Today, where we always have something to say about the Toronto Blue Jays. I am your host, Adam Peddle.
And I'm your host, Nicholas Blaylock. And today, guys, we're looking at Carlos Rodon. Where we think he's gonna go. Does he have a shot at the Blue Jays? Should the Blue Jays be pursuing Carlos Rodon and signing him to their rotation? All of that and more in this video. Before we get into it, though, guys, please make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. We did just hit over 10K, so thank you very much.
Yes, shout out to everybody. Thank you so much,
legends, guys, but obviously we're not stopping, so subscribe to the channel, and TODAYJAYS is the code to get some sweet deals and discounts on Betstamp. Alright, Carlos Rodon. Few seasons ago, he might not even have warranted a podcast.
Not at all.
Like really.
Oh,
really
maybe one of the low buys.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the low buys.
Yeah.
Maybe the 4th, 5th guys you put in your rotation.
We would have been talking about him the same way that we talk about like Andrew Heaney or something like that. Maybe even not.
Maybe not as high as Andrew Heaney.
Literally, but the last 2 years of Carlos Rodon has been absolutely masterful. I think you.
Yeah, I do got it right here. Last two, you got 2.67 ERA, 0.998 WHIP. That's what's most impressive to me. Under 1 WHIP for a starter is incredible, and the FIP of 2.42. Now, speaking of FIP, his last year he led all of MLB in FIP. If you're not familiar, it's basically like expected numbers for pitching. So he was expected to be one of the best pitchers. And look, that means he's going to command one of the best contracts, one of the biggest deals in this offseason. He's one of the top guys right now. So for the Blue Jays, I mean, we're looking to add a starting pitcher. Are we looking to add someone as a caliber like Carlos Rodon? Is that even possible?
So I think that you're always looking to add somebody in the Carlos Rodon range. Like, listen, guys, we've been linked to the Justin Verlanders of the world, and if we're linked to the Justin Verlanders of the world, then there's really no reason to think that we wouldn't be linked to the Carlos Rodon. Carlos Rodon is going to be turning 30. He's like got a few days left before this comes out, but before his birthday. So he will be 30 years old when you get him, which is a great age for a pitcher. You have lots of years left, and you do have to imagine that a Carlos Rodon's probably looking at a 4 to 6 year deal, I would imagine. So you'd have him for quite a while, whereas a Verlander is like a 1 to 2 to 3 year deal.
That's the big difference to me. And like one of these New York articles they published, he's expecting like somewhere in that 4 to 6 range, like you're saying, like 120 to 160, maybe 170
That's what I
million.
wrote down.
Yeah, like that's a lot of money. So he's almost like Kevin Gosman last year, but better.
Yeah.
So is that a possibility?
If you think about it, because like you look at the Robbie Ray, you look at the Kevin Gosman, like they had like 1 good year of great. This guy's had 2 good years of great, so he's got to get a bit more money than them, and he's around the same age. As far as the Blue Jays go, I'm not ruling anything out. I'm really not ruling anything out because I will cite the comments of our literal general manager saying that money's not an issue. Money ain't a problem, bro. You know, it's like it's not a big issue. So if we are saying those things, and we're also in the conversations for a Brandon Nimmo, which is going to cost you know, around the 120 million mark, maybe, like I don't know, but could be in that range. Then I can't come out here and say that we're 100% not going to be in it.
Like if we are going in on a Brandon Nimmo, but we know that pitching's the problem. We know it's been an issue for the last few years, and if we're willing to spend that much for an outfielder, that does make sense.
Right.
But that would mean that you'd have Kevin Gosman over 100 million, Barrios over 100 million, Carlos Rodon over 100 million being the most expensive one, and then if you're planning for Alek Manoah,
which you
will
should
definitely be over 100 million if he's healthy and is on track to when he hits free agency. Does that concern you at all, having almost more than $400 million potentially committed to 4 dudes?
Absolutely, and we've seen time and time again, pitchers can be volatile. They can have a good year, then they can have a bad year, and God forbid Tommy John, because all that money, poof, gone. But Carlos Rodon is a very special talent. Now, the way that I look at things here, guys, and I want your opinion, I want your guys' opinion too, so comment down below. If we're willing, if we're talking in the Brandon Nimmo sort of range, that seems to me like we could be willing to spend $120 million. I think that we have 2 big glaring holes. It's a role in the starting pitching staff, and it is a left-handed outfielder at this point. Like that's what we need. Let me paint the picture. We go out, we sign Carlos Rodon, then we use one of those catchers and we trade for a guy like a Brian Reynolds or something in that range, whereas, you know, okay, we sign a Brandon Nimmo to a massive deal and then do it the opposite. I'm suggesting maybe we just sign the pitcher and then trade outfielder. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, definitely. There's many different avenues you can go down. You can flip it. You can do what you just said there. I think it's going to be a while before we find out what exactly the Blue Jays do. I wanted to ask you, do you think that we're going to be the first ones to jump out there and make the move? Because we've been saying we got to wait till the market establishes themselves. Carlos Rodon's one of the top pitchers out there next to DeGrom and next to Verlander. Do we go out early and grab a Rodon and establish the market, or do we wait until one of the big boys fall off for
No, we're gonna go freaking like we're shooting our shots here. I think that my entire mentality of this offseason completely changed when we fired that Teoscar Hernandez bullet immediately.
That says we're serious.
It's literally
we don't care. We want to win.
We were throwing it around. We're like, oh yeah, like one of these guys could go this offseason. I did think it was possible.
I did think it was, but I did not think it would happen this early.
Literally,
they established what they needed and they got it right away.
It was like, we're not screwing around. We want our bullpen. We want it locked in. So boom, check mark on the bullpen. I don't want us to be 100% done, but it's looking a lot better. So let's say check mark there. Next on the agenda, starting pitching or left-handed bat, right? So it's like we are going to fire those shots, and I imagine that if we do go out and we sign a Brandon Nimmo, don't be shocked if there's going to be a starting pitcher trade happening within a week or within 2 weeks. Or, alternatively, if we sign a Carlos Rodon, don't be shocked if there's a trade for a left-handed bat within a week, 2 weeks.
It feels like they're going out in the free agency market for the left-handed bat right now. That's my biggest thing. I mean, we're linked to Bellinger. Maybe by the time this podcast comes out, we've already got Bellinger. We're linked to Bellinger. That'd be crazy. We're linked to Nimmo. So for me, Rodon, if we miss out on the free agency market with those two guys, then I think the big money might be spent right here. Rodon, a Verlander. I don't think DeGrom's coming, but those two guys are definitely in the realms of possibility. So that's what I'm seeing right now. If we get that kind of free agent, boom, look Rodon. He might be coming to Toronto.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, in my opinion, just personally here, Nimmo, Rodon, like for our team.
Yeah, who would you spend the money on?
I would prefer a Rodon.
I agree.
At the end of the day, like we know what our problem is, guys. Like, yes, we do need that outfielder, but like, come on, what 2.67 ERA for God's sake.
Exactly, exactly. Okay, let's paint it this way. Like if you got an outfield, if this is what your a free agency outlook after with a left-handed bat and a starting pitcher, if this is what it looked like. If you got Rodon and Bellinger, would you want that combination, or would you want a combination of a Heaney and Nimmo?
Yeah, like definitely the other.
The Bellinger and Rodon.
Yes,
right?
Sure.
So and it would cost roughly a little bit more.
Could have been a bit more there for sure.
But if we're going to spend a little bit more, I want to package it in that way.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you there. So those are our thoughts on the Blue Jays. As far as other teams here, like Carlos Rodon obviously has a lot of suitors. I was looking at it. Goddamn Yankees. They're in the mix.
Why are they in the mix?
Because I'm actually kind of shocked. You'd think that they'd be more batting heavy like this offseason, because they did make that trade for Frankie Montas. Yeah. You have Garrett Cole. They had the breakout of Nestor, but they're apparently in on it. And honestly, you can never rule the Yankees out for anybody.
Exactly.
Phillies, that makes a lot of sense for me. Rangers, I mean, if they're linked to Jacob DeGrom, you also need to be linked to Carlos Rodon as well. And then also too, speaking of Jacob DeGrom, the Mets, if they don't get their boy back, Carlos Rodon could be, a very serviceable sort of like, hey, you're our new DeGrom,
I agree.
For a little bit less money sort of thing.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Guys, let us know in the comments down below. What do you think about these Carlos Rodon, rumors, trade, free agency? Where do you think he's going to go? And do you think he's going to come to the Blue Jays? You let us know in the comments down below.
Yeah, please like, subscribe, comment down below. $3 a month become a Patreon member. Shout out to thank you to every single one of those current Patreon members. You guys are incredible.
And guys, thank you so much for watching.
Go Jays, go!